And that's another week done in the Bake Off tent. I'm still Chris.
And I'm Christy.
And this indeed is the Washing Up. And we are dealing today with Batter Week.
I know, batter up.
Oh.
Swing, batter, batter.
Oh, and all we needed was a bit of a salt in there, and there could have been a salt and batter.
Battery.
No. They had enough batter puns on there to last a lifetime.
There's never enough puns.
I'm actually quite sure that the whole reason they picked batter had nothing to do with the quality of baking and had everything to do with batter puns.
Batter puns. Yeah, because you can go, oh, look, tonight in the tent, it's battery powered.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Even by our standards of puns, that's...
I know, I was coating that on thick.
Ooh. Anyway, moving into the challenges this week, I think, because I think we need to get into this.
Yeah.
Yorkshire puddings. Now, we talked in the Australian series of Bake Off how there were some challenges that seemed perfect for the Italians, in the tent. And then there were the challenges that seemed perfect for the Germans in the tent.
Indeed.
And what we found here is finally they just went, Val, we've given you something they make down the road.
What? At the local shops?
They won't let me back in if I can't get this right, considering you snuck out in the first place, Val. No one knows you're gone. They haven't worked it out yet. There's an all-points bulletin.
Do you think she's still wandering around the grounds?
I like the idea that Channel 4 is going to go back to the same place to do their version of Bake Off.
Yeah.
And Val's just still going to be there.
Hello.
And maybe the new host with Paul Hollywood.
Can I come too?
Can you imagine Val hosting Bake Off with Paul Hollywood? Val, what challenge have you set? Well, it's one that we've always used to make, and I've been making it for years. What is it, Val? I don't know.
I've forgotten.
I don't want to be in a pie. I don't like gravy. Now that I've worked in a chicken run, quote, let's move on. They wanted identical. Now, poor Val, when they said that, they showed Val, who cringed.
Yeah.
Just openly cringed. And that was then followed by Mary Berry with a really strange statement. Mary Berry says, after we say we want them absolutely identical and you've got to work hard at making them identical, Mary Berry goes, once it's in the oven, it's in the lap of the gods.
I know, I don't know which god is responsible for Yorkshire puddings.
Who is the god of Yorkshire puddings? I'll ask the pagan. Who is the god of Yorkshire puddings?
I'll have to go and consult a few of my almanacs because I have no idea. I presume it's someone from the Yorkshire district.
Someone from the Dales?
Someone from the Dales. Someone that's a bit peaty, a bit boggy.
Let's just say that the god of Yorkshire puddings is Dale.
Is Dale.
And let's just go with that.
The goddess Dale.
The goddess Dale, the goddess of Yorkshire puddings. That's
Yes.
the new goddess of Yorkshire puddings. But I like the idea that Mary's talking about you must work to make these absolutely identical and perfect, and then says to the camera, oh, well, who knows?
And then you have Val in the corner, all robed up, doing a little sacrifice to the goddess.
The goddess Dale of the Yorkshire puddings.
This is the way my mother did it, and the way my mother's mother did it.
And my sister, well, we don't talk about her anymore. We sacrificed her to the goddess of Yorkshire puddings.
It was an important Christmas, that's all I can say.
What a Christmas it was, though.
Indeed.
Anyway, we apologise to people of Yorkshire, or indeed anyone who can identify what accent that was. We're so sorry. Having said that,
Yes.
I mean, Val sort of had her moments because she adds chili, which is a very Val thing to do. I don't know if she meant
this recipe I found in a box from El Paso.
Was it old El Paso? No, new.
The box was quite new. There was no cobwebs and it was in date and everything.
and you compare that to Jane, who, again, Jane's always very well spoken and eloquent, but at this point she turns around and goes, mine always struggle and I don't know why. And when they cut to them making them and putting them in to cook, she's just slapping batter all over the tray.
It's like she's aiming for everywhere else. She's like seeing the Jackson Pollock recipe for Yorkshire
Jackson Pollock Pro Heart School of Yorkshire puddings.
Oh, Mrs. Jane, what a mess.
And it was just really weird. And compare that to then Candace, who, by the way, Matt Moran, were you paying attention? Because she made round Wellingtons. They were round Wellingtons.
Fee was cheering her on.
Fee was going, woo, that's perfect. Go for it, girl. And Rav, I mean, Paul sort of did hit the nail on the head. He has stuck to about 3 flavours.
Yeah, but, you know.
I mean, I know they worked for him, but they're 3 flavours. And the chili and paprika, I got on board with. Then he mentioned one of my least favourite things on the planet.
Peas.
Okay, Jane had those in hers.
Trump.
I'm thinking more tofu.
Oh, you can't compare Trump to tofu.
No, you can't. One's really orange and one's really white. So, although one of them apparently likes a lot of very white things. Anyway, moving on. We're not getting political.
Much.
We're getting political about tofu, though. We're also getting political about vegetarians. Because Tom revealed to all of us...
Yes.
He grew up vegetarian.
A phrase you'll never hear my child say.
And a phrase that I think explains Tom.
So much.
I've been trying to work him out and... Yeah, and I think you commented about his Yorkshire, and it didn't really sound like he was making a Yorkshire pudding.
I thought it was more of a samosa when he was talking about chickpeas and stuff.
It did sound very... And then, again, he couldn't work out. He used chickpea flour. Couldn't work out why they didn't rise.
No.
And then, like, Mary Berry, they're going, okay, and they didn't help him. They didn't give him any help, and at the end, Mary Berry goes, well, of course it didn't rise. That's a dense flour. And you just saw the look on his face like, you could have mentioned that.
No, but it's a competition. Unlike the Australian ones where your judges basically offer to bake it for you. These guys, you know, try and leave it in the hands of the gods, as it were.
Dale.
Goddess Dale.
Now, as part of their offering to the goddess Dale,
Yes.
everyone seemed to either do one of 2 types. Mm-hmm. They either made a homemade roast
Yes, or a
curry. So the goddess Dale obviously likes roast meat and curries.
Curry. Well, she's very British then, isn't she?
Extremely British. And now, again, you pointed out something to me about Val that I hadn't noticed,
No.
which was about Val and her narrations.
Oh, she was narrating about herself. She's like, she says now something. She was leaning down to look at her Yorkshires. That's what she was doing.
I like to watch my Yorkshire puddings rise. I like to sit here and do this. I really like to look at the oven. And again, we're waiting for the golden book, turn the page.
Turn the page now.
Turn the page to find out about more Yorkshire puddings and Dale. I've got to stop doing that accent. It's not even close to Yorkshire.
Who cares? We're Australian.
People in Yorkshire care. I'm sure they're listening to it. Hello to all our Yorkshire listeners.
Indeed.
I mean, we've had some Belgian listeners before, so, you know, and Spanish listeners. So, and for the Spanish listener, Churros coming up.
I know. Sizzle, because you've never had that before.
Forward sizzle. And then Val made her famous, they won't allow me to go into Yorkshire comment, which we mentioned, you know, in terms of, I sure was sure she snuck out.
No,
And
she's like...
No, they won't let you in. You've got to be kidding me. They think you're still there.
They kicked you out. Do you reckon instead of her actually
Sacrifice to the goddess Dale? Maybe she was the sacrifice to the goddess Dale.
And they kicked her out and she's wandered in here and found herself having to cook Yorkshires to her goddess.
It's the only way to get back in.
Yes, is to...
It's like a really weird plot of the movie Xanadu.
No.
No roller skating, just Yorkshire puddings.
It's like the Wicker Man 4, the Yorkshire Man. The Pudding Man.
And then when Jane made hers, did they look at it and go, not the peas?
No, not the peas. Now, Selassies look like they're on friggin' steroids. It's
Of course they did.
I just slipped some powdered Viagra in here, man. Okay, apparently he sounds like Ringo Starr today. It's like everyone's going, oh, they're not rising, and Selassie's like,
Can't stop them.
he's like, they're just big.
Everyone else is like, I can't make these right. And Selassie's looking in the oven like, what's the problem? I don't have a problem.
I don't have a problem.
Ladies, swoon.
Man puffed up just fine.
And again, he's got that problem. Again, go back to Tom and the fact that, you know, Tom's didn't go anywhere. And Mel leans over and really nicely goes, they're not smouldering. Aren't they supposed to be smouldering? And Tom's like, oh, they don't have to. Cut to Tom later going, I don't know what happened. That's not normally happened. I don't know what the problem is. Cut back to the fact that everyone else has smouldered and yours didn't.
Isn't that called like smoking temperature? Like
it had to be smoking. It had to be smoking.
Smoking
and
hot.
everyone talked about the fact that you need to have that oil smoking. And there's Tom just going, oh, it's lukewarm oil. In we go.
Oh, see, the oil had to be smoking. Selassie goes, that's my specialty. Puffed that shit up right away. I get it, puffed.
I get it.
Smoking.
Oh, I gets it.
Marijuana innuendos. Okay, on.
And from that we go to Jane. I mean, talk about Jane, endearing herself.
Because we've watched this series before, right? And in the first series, I missed this part. And if I'd have heard what Jane said in the last time we watched it, I would have been rooting for her all the way through. When she turned to the camera and said, "These are not the Yorkshires you're looking for," I'm like, oh my God, where have you been? And it made me realise Jane's actually a really good baker. She's been the most consistently good.
Yeah, so far in the first... What are we up to now? I don't even remember what week we're up to now. I think it's 4.
No, it's 6.
I'm pretty sure it's 4. But
I can't count.
I can't count either. I don't really care. Jane's been consistent. And and again, we talked about this last week with Olivia. We talked about it the week before with Beck, and they both said the same thing. Jane is just consistent.
Yeah.
Never necessarily stunning.
No.
But she doesn't really turn in horrible bakes. And you'll see that when we get to the churros, which she'd never even seen.
No.
Never had a churro, never seen a churro, didn't know what they didn't know how to do it. Now
only she had the same talent with a dump noodle.
Dump noodle. Anyway, let's leave the dump noodle alone at the moment, because we're speaking of noodles, or things close to the noodle.
Yes.
That's where in the judging, where my favourite Paul Hollywood commented this one.
Yeah.
He didn't really pick on Val this week. He did, however, make a comment to Andrew about the way that he liked the way he toasted his nuts. And they both sniggered instantly.
I just wanted to say, Andrew turned around and say, "They're not toasted, Paul. I'm just a ginger." Because pubic hair.
We're playing Captain States the Obvious today, aren't we?
Yes.
Now, I got worried briefly in the judging.
Did you?
Yes, because Selassie made, of course, the pork one. Now, he got the Hollywood handshake, and that was great. But when they bit into them, I forgot for a moment that he'd made crackling.
Yes.
And it sounded like Mary Berry's jaw broke. Like, she's gone, and it was perfect timing, obviously, but the cracking was so loud. I'm thinking, how strong are these? I mean, they're big. How strong were these things?
The thing is, right, I don't understand how Mary Berry could even have osteoporosis with the amount of cream she's ingested over her lifetime.
There's no way. High teas are keeping that woman perfectly ready. And Val, much like the weird challenge the other week where Val managed to do the ridiculous dump noodle challenge.
Yeah.
Val finally found something she could do. Again, Yorkshire puddings, funnily enough, Val could actually do them.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Maybe she praises pudding pudding goddesses, because she's
Dale
and maybe the dumpling goddess.
Helga
the dumpling goddess.
Is the dump noodle Helga's?
Yeah, because it came across with the Vikings.
There we go.
Ah, there we go.
Let's go with it. Now the technical. The fucking technical. All right.
You love this. No, everyone, I've encouraged Chris just to tell us what he really thinks about this, because I think he was holding back before.
Everybody who listened to the Australian series knows my view on the burger challenge, that I think it is the biggest abomination in the history of Bake Off. Until Lace Pancakes. As a technical challenge, we made lace fucking pancakes.
But you can come up with a good song. I am making
pancakes.
Lace pancakes.
Lace pancakes. Yes. I don't care about the song. It's fucking ridiculous. It's a pancake. I mean, I know it's supposed to be thin, and you've got to add sugar to crisp it up, and it's all about the intricate detail of the... Get them to make something fucking else than a pancake. And what worried me more was that they were complaining that the recipe just said make a pancake batter. And everyone, all these people who are supposed to be great bakers, are going, that seems very general. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's a fucking pancake batter. If you're on the Great British Bake Off, you can make pancakes.
Even I can make pancakes.
It's ridiculous. And I don't care about the intricate detail. It's about the baking. And there's no bloody baking. It's a lace pancake. And the key was, did you put sugar in it or not? Although not as much as Rav, who decided to empty a jar.
Because,
And all you had to do was make a pancake, Rav, And you made a biscuit. It's close to a fucking shortbread.
No. I think his was actually toffee with flour.
Yeah, it was basically, you're right, it's basically toffee. I mean, they were breaking the plate. Forget the thing. They're knocking on the plate. And I thought the plate was going to snap in half.
Maybe it was pancake brittle.
Possibly, but Lace fucking pancakes. And how? How on earth do you mess that up? And apparently the answer was quite easily. And Val turns around and goes, I'm not going to plan this out. I'm going to freeform of all of the people.
After Hollywood has said, practice.
They need to be uniform. And Val just goes, I'm going to wing it. Of all of the people who shouldn't be just winging it, Val, you are the number one candidate. Don't wing it. You should have planned this. You haven't made these for years. As you might be able to guess from her reaction, this rant is completely fresh to Christy. But damn it, if this has not been building up in me since the first time I saw it.
I'm really glad you got to let that out.
Anyway, Benjamin and Candace nailed it. So that was the end of the challenge. Shall we move on to churros?
Oh, churros.
We move on to churros.
From España.
Now, funnily enough, while we do this, what am I eating?
Somebody's eating churros.
Yeah, I may have actually watched this and gone, trying to make some churros. So I've got churros. So let's go through it. Now, Candace lost to me the moment that she said, never eaten one. That's just ridiculous. How can you never eaten one?
Look, she could be from like a little English town that's lucky to have a curry house, let alone like a place you can purchase churros. So you need to understand, Britain's
They've got a pub with a sticky toffee floor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not actually sticky toffee. Although I'd like to think the real pub was sticky toffee. Notice how we're still talking about that.
The pub.
Yeah, the last few weeks, Candace has kind of been coasting on the pub.
Yeah, she hasn't done anything outstanding, nothing...
She's had a couple of horror shows.
Yeah.
And a few decent ones, but nothing brilliant.
No. Jane's been producing some good stuff. Andrew has.
Yeah, they've all been sort of producing vaguely something. I think, controversial statement coming up, I even think that Val's produced better bakes in the last 2 weeks than Candace has.
Yeah. Kate, who went home tonight, produced better bakes last week.
I mean, not this week. This week was horrible.
No, this week.
We'll get to this week.
She said, fuck that. Baking, what's baking?
Now, Mary turned around at this again. Mary had some weird comments at the starts of things this week. Mm-hmm. Mary turned around this week and started the Churros challenge by saying, "Oh no, I want them to do this, but I want them to do something quite different,
like
batter and churros." That's what the week is, Mary.
Yeah, but she wanted something quite different.
Like what?
And I don't know, maybe they could have produced a roasted pheasant. That would be quite different.
Because I don't think anyone produced anything different. Different from good, maybe, but not different.
Benjaminas were awesome.
They weren't different, though. They were good, but they weren't different.
They were tear-shaped. You don't get those at San Churro.
Well, no, but to be fair, if we're judging everything by San Churro, that's a bit of a...
That is a saint, which is technically a Catholic god.
Okay, so we know who they prayed to for this one.
Yeah.
San Churro.
San Churro.
Sponsorship, guys. Hey, we're here.
I'll take your chocolate.
I'll take the caramel.
You need to improve your coffee, but I'll take your chocolate.
I'll take the caramel. Anyway, so it's all, I mean, if you want different, you've got to go Selassie or Kate, and let's face it, they both did really bad jobs. And I love Selassie's idea, but it was raw and it was burnt, so it was two things in one.
Well, he froze it, which, is dangerous when you're putting it in extremely hot oil. I mean, you need to balance those two things out.
Exactly. And we'll come back to Kate because there's a horror show. There's a horror show happening there. Now, I don't know what Tom was thinking because going into this challenge, Tom's like, I really need to nail this. I'm in a lot of trouble. And then he announces he's making fennel seed churros.
Look, I think Tom was like, you know what? I'm the flavors man. I need to live dangerously.
But did you see that Paul Hollywood referred to Rav as the flavour man in the end of this challenge? He said, "You're normally really good with your flavours," which is what he always says to Tom. I don't think Paul Hollywood knows who's in the tent.
No, because Paul Hollywood before that point was like, "You're not using your normal flavours, Rav," which were lime and coconut.
Lime and coconut.
Lime and coconut, which were Rav's go-to flavours. And so he's like, "You're usually the flavour man." It's like, well, you were just shitting on him before for not using enough different types of flavours.
You told him you were only using 2 flavours. Now you're the flavour man. Yeah, the 2 flavour man.
If Paul was 12 biscuits that were served up in a technical challenge, they would be informal.
They would be very informal.
He's extremely inconsistent.
Indeed, very informal. Although, to be fair to Rav, or about Rav, for those of you playing along at home for the last couple of seasons of every form of cooking show,
Yeah.
Rav made matcha.
Matcha man.
So it's time to have a shot.
Yeah.
Because if you're playing that drinking game of who's making matcha now, the answer is Rav is making matcha now.
Yes.
And everyone
Shot.
drink. Everyone drink.
Your vodka and matcha, because that's what you'd be drinking.
But wait. There you go. All right. But we got concerned because no one had done what they've done in the last few weeks, which is booze.
Yeah, well, I was fearing that Mary would be in a bit of a
Withdrawal?
No, it'll be like a dry tent because what's he went home? Cypriot guy.
Yeah, Michael. Who just got her drunk last week completely, and her and Hollywood just tanked completely. I'd love to have seen after, by the way. After they've drunk that, I just wanted to see what they were like baking things. Hey, Mary, look at this. I've made. What is this? I don't even know what this is.
Lace pancakes.
Let's make it the technical. But thankfully, Candace and Jane
stood.
They stood firm. Candace put beer in what she was doing, and Jane's sauce also was full of booze.
Yeah, they booze it up. They went, "There's a hole. Let's both jump in it and fill it."
And Mary didn't have to have the shakes. And
she didn't have to worry if she was going to come out, blind from drinking a shot.
Shall we get on to Catrix Potter?
Bright eyes.
The Watership Down Churros. Wow. And I mean, Paul even said they look like they're rabbits that have been run over.
She goes like roadkill.
Seriously. And I was waiting for the harmonies in the background.
Yes.
How can the light that burns so brightly suddenly burn so pale? Bright eyes.
It was almost like what she was going through. I'm thinking that was like the trauma that I experienced watching that fucking horrible movie.
I had to sing the song Bright Eyes for a choir once. That hurt me enough.
Oh my God. My parents, I think I must have been like 4 years old, and obviously back in the day before the internet, they just go to the video store and they're like, "Oh, look, it's a new animated film
with rabbits.
With bunnies in it." And you know what? Anya's right. Evil fucking rabbits. Because, all those bunnies just...
It's terrifying.
Exploring each other.
It's terrifying. Yeah, Anya's definitely right. It must be bunnies.
Yeah.
It has to be bunnies. They're not as cute as everyone supposes.
She obviously popped up in the tent and saw Kate's cooking and went, "Ooh, evil bunnies."
Yeah, well, I mean, she's the perfectly placed person to actually, ruin a bake. So that makes sense.
She was the anti-goddess that came in.
There we go. We sorted this out.
She was like the curse sent by...
Anyway, I don't know what Kate was thinking. So she made a very thin mixture. She sort of burned them. They were very thoroughly cooked through. They were flattened. And they had really odd raisin eyeballs. And they just looked creepy.
Mel did coin it well. Catal attraction.
Yes, Catal attraction. I like my Catrix Potter.
Catrix Potter is awesome. But she was a bunny boiler.
Oh, boy, was she ever.
Yeah, you said Michael Douglas quivering away in the corner.
Now, my moment of this episode...
Yes.
Was a little, again, much like last week, my moment of the episode was Val walking across the screen with a hand in the air.
Yes.
Like she was saying, "Olé!" This week, my moment of the week was Andrew, when they cut to Andrew and he's trying to pipe the mixture. It was way too thick. And he couldn't get it through, and he's turned bright red, and it's just not working. And he's complaining to the camera. He's going, "This is horrible. This mixture's far too thick. It looks terrible. This is really bad. Everything's horrible." And Tom walks past him in the background to go to the fridge, turns around, sees what he's doing and goes, "Looks good," and keeps walking. It was just the most brilliant bit of timing. He's complaining about horrible. Tom just goes, it's great. Walks off.
You know?
And you just saw this look over his shoulder from Andrew like, are you kidding me?
Well, Olivia did talk about the Star Baker curse piece, but possibly the Star Baker curse is you get Star Baker goggles, where you think something is awesome and it looks like shit. Like he might have tasted and seen those fennel churros and thought, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. But the Star Baker goggles just cursed him.
And as for Selassie, well, he needs at least 2 parts of every episode where he makes everybody swoon. And
indeed.
when he stood there and he went different with his bowls, thinking great idea, didn't work, but great idea. And he turns around and he goes, I've got to cook these more because mine are thicker than the regular ones.
I just wait for poor Hollywood to walk past and high-five him.
Everybody swooned. Again, I swear, he's not in there for baking skill. He's just there for swoonage.
Yeah, but I'm sure tonight was the result of his girlfriend at home going, have you mentioned me yet? Have you mentioned me yet? Because tonight...
Why aren't you talking about me?
Yeah.
You seem to be waving to Benjamina a lot.
Because in his, when he made the Yorkshire puddings, he's like, this is actually my girlfriend's mother's recipe.
Yes, and at that point there, he got in the good books.
Yeah, hearts broke across the world, but...
Probably.
Selassie's getting laid.
Indeed he is. And was there ever a doubt? Selassie. Was there ever a doubt?
He's getting extra laid.
Extra laid. Now, Tom, poor Tom. I think Tom was really lucky this week. I mean, he was really lucky that Kate just sucked. But...
Skin into his teeth. You know, I reckon...
It's like when he put the things together and he went... Turns around to the audience and he goes, look at that! It looks just like a snake. And the rest of the audience at home's going, no.
It was like... You know what his churro snake was like? Like it escaped Val's arc. It was like... That's the snake, in quotation marks, that escaped Val. And then they've got... And what's this up here? He's like, oh, that's supposed to be a head.
That's supposed to be a head, but it didn't turn... What do you mean it didn't turn out? It's a churros. It looks like the same as everything else on the plate. I
mean, you know, Kate's bunnies were horrible, but they looked like bunnies.
Yeah, I mean, look, they wouldn't have worked in Val's arc. They looked like what they were supposed to be, sort of. I can identify it. I mean, maybe it looked like you ripped a head off a bunny rabbit and put it around a lucky chain. But still.
Cannibal bunny.
Or in The Simpsons, look what I did to Mr. Honey Bunny. That was your beloved childhood toy, Bart. Now, the judging, Benjamina and Jane just...
Killing it.
Blitzed it. Benjamina's looked amazing. Jane's, again, for someone who'd never had a churro, never seen, never done anything, spectacular. When she said afterwards, never seen them.
But how amazing would that be, right? You've served up churros, which you've never eaten, you've never cooked before, to Paul and Mary, and Paul's gone, oh, perfect, blah, blah, blah. And you get to eat your first churro that you've made.
That's what they said when they went to a, she goes, I've never had a churro, and they got 36 of them now.
Yeah, like you.
Here, eat them. And I thought it was really, I mean, Benjamina definitely deserves Star Baker.
Oh, and hers looked beautiful. Like,
they were stunning.
Her presentation reminded me of something I'd seen in the Australian Bake Off tent this year.
And her comment as well that she made is about where she thought about the fact that she looped them. And she said, I don't want to go just the normal straight ones. I want to do something a bit different. And I think these are good because you can grab them.
Yeah.
Thought process.
And that's exactly what Paul praised her on, is that these are perfect. Like,
exactly. It was really good. Kate, when Kate went home, it was really weird. Like, Kate spent the whole of the last part of the episode talking like a naughty schoolgirl who was going to detention.
Yeah.
I know, I must try harder. I know, I've let myself down. I've let my family down. I've let everybody down. I'm letting everybody down. This is really bad on my behalf.
But you know what shits me, right? Kate was just behind Tom. She was unlucky to Tom last week. I reckon she should have Star Bakered bread week. And if that had happened, she wouldn't have gone home today. It would have been Tom.
I thought that Tom was incredibly fortunate. And I thought Rav was really lucky too.
Oh, Rav was just... No, but what saved Rav was in his technical bake. He did a good job. His Yorkshires were not terrible.
Whereas Tom's were flat. Tom was serving pikelets.
Tom needed some of Selassie's Viagra.
He needed to borrow like Selassie's mojo.
Obviously the goddess Dale liked Selassie.
Oh, the goddess Dale loves Selassie. And I mean, it was a weird week for me. I mean, good concept overall, but I thought the interesting part about this week much like a few of the other weeks,
Yeah.
it was subpar baking for most of it. There was a few standout moments, but the judges, and it's not just us sitting here going, oh, that's not very good, oh, that's not very good. The judges have spent most of the time judging challenges and saying to the bakers, that's not very good. That's not very good either. This is not very good.
I mean, look how excited Mary was when Benjamina served up her churro.
Yeah.
She was like, oh my God, these taste fantastic. Look at the colour on that, I believe she exclaimed.
She did indeed. And it was, it's not us sitting here judging these bakers. And again, we would never posit to go into that tent and bake under that pressure at all. But it's when you've got Paul and Mary standing there going, this isn't very good.
No.
And I think last season raised it a little bit. Nadia and co raised it a little bit. And I think they came in expecting greatness. I'd like to know if over the coming weeks they scale the challenges down a little bit. Although, how do you scale them down when the first challenge was basically 3 times make a sponge?
Yeah.
And they struggled.
I just have to wonder if also with everything that was going politically behind the scenes of Bake Off, if that had an effect on the tent.
But remember, that also happened after the filming. So
yeah,
it was after filming. I mean, they would have been in negotiations, but it all happened after filming. But it just seems really weird that it's almost like Paul and Mary are shocked by how far off the pace the bakers are.
Maybe the Bake Off gods just got the shits, cursed the tent.
Yeah, you're on your own, Paul, and that's sort of it.
Yeah, like, burn this shit to the ground.
Possibly. So next week, pastry.
Oh, it's going to be good.
And again, they're making phyllo.
Lamination.
They're making phyllo.
Oh, my God.
That can only go well.
I remember Mel Buttle, I believe it was, who said she makes phyllo by pulling it out of the packet.
Yep.
And defrosting it.
And I mean, the comment that they used in the promo for this week was Val saying, and this is why you don't make phyllo pastry. So I think with that,
yes,
I think we've got batter week sorted.
Battered.
It's all battered.
We were battered savvy.
Oh, and I've had my little rant. I'm going to have some churros, not a lace pancake, some churros. Never serve a lace pancake near me. But until next week.
Duly noted.
Thank you very much. Until next week, I've been Chris.
I've been fantastic.
Indeed,
and I've
you
been
have.
Christy.
Indeed, you have. And we will catch you all later. Bye.
Ciao.